What's up guys, CO here with week 3 of the NES. As you can tell from the kind of jank layout, I have to do this pretty quickly, so sorry. This week we are going up against TK, coach of the Queensland Komalas. After getting eliminated by MDS last week, I'm kind of just trying to have fun with the rest of Little Cup and test out some stuff in preparation for the NES Season 3. By the way, NES Season 3 live draft is coming August 12th, which is this Saturday, so get hyped for that. I'll post a regular video for that. But heading into this battle, I really wanted to kind of test out the rain aspect of my team, so this is basically just a fun hyper-offensive rain team. Starting off, we have Teddy Ursa making season debut actually with Toxic Orb, Quick Feet, Crunch, Facade, Play Rough, and Close Combat. As you can see from that coverage, I basically hit everything on this team, so as long as I get a free switch in and get my Toxic Orb off, I should be good to go. Next up we have Mime Jr. also making a season debut as a defensive wall, basically. A Violet filter with Healing Wish, Baton Pass, Encore, and Psyshock. I originally had Thunder Wave on here, but I decided to keep Encore just because I wanted to potentially lock into setup if possible. And Mime Jr. even uninvested is pretty fast, so that'll help. Another season debut in Skiddo with the Berry Juice Sap Sipper combo. Basically just meant to switch in on a grass type attack from Cottony, who did not come. Speaking of, she also has Natu, Gibble, Azrael, and Poniard, who did not come. I just didn't have time to get their sprites, unfortunately. But anyway, Skiddo is a bulk up set with Rock Slides and Headbutt and Hidden Power Ice. It's kind of weird to bring a mono grass Pokemon and not bring Stab on it at all, but I noticed that coverage actually works better than bringing like Horn Leech or something. I don't really have a ton of opportunities to set up with Skiddo, but if I do get it up to +1 or +2, it can actually do quite a lot of damage. Next up, we have Anorith with Rock EMC and Swift Swim, Stealth Rock, Rock Slide, X Scissor, and Swords Dance. Basically, if I can get in and get a Swords Dance off with a Rain Up, that's going to pretty much demolish everything. Next up, basically making a season debut since I used him so shitty last time, is Elekid. Choice Scarfed again with Volt Switch, Signal Beam, Ice Punch, and Thunder. Again, Thunder is just for rain stuff. And finally, we have the Rain Setter on the team with Purloin, Prankster Damp Rock, U-Turn, Rain Dance, Knockoff, and Hidden Power Fighting. Hidden Power Fighting again was for something that didn't come, but I like to prep for all 11 things, so that's what happened. So the first thing I noticed on TK's team is her only form of hazard removal is Rapid Spin Pineco, who Anorith actually beats one-on-one, so even if it's Anorith versus Pineco one-on-one, I could just go for Rock Slide and basically just nuke it because it's not a steel type yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to fast forward slightly. So I'm going to go ahead and just lead Anorith and get the rocks up as she leads Azrael. I don't really see this thing as much of a threat right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and get my rocks up. Unfortunately, that was a missed assessment on my part because Azrael does a fuck ton of damage with that body slam. I kind of assumed this was just going to be like the worthless Azrael I kind of played week 1 where it just kind of sat there and then died. But this Azrael clearly came to play and had a normal gem and did it over 70% to something that resisted it. And now it doesn't have an item, and now I'm figuring it's probably going to go for some kind of Thief combo or whatever. I actually expected to go for Thief specifically, so I decided to go into Mime Jr. to try to like quad resist it, or not quad resist it, just not take a ton of damage. But as you can tell by my explanation of that, that was not the right play. I was trying to justify that play, but I don't really know what happened there. But as she covets my Violet, I'm basically just like, okay, so this thing did a fuck ton of damage to something that was supposed to sweep and then stole the Violet off of my wall, which is not good. So now I'm trying to figure out what to do. I decided to just lock it into Covet so it can't steal another item. Or try to like fling or something. I'm pretty convinced that Mime Jr. is going to drop here, and it does, so good job, Mime Jr. I'm going to go ahead and say that I did not do my job in trying to keep Mime Jr. alive for any significant amount of time, but that was pretty uneventful. So I go hard Anorith here, even though I am pretty in range to die, because I know that she knows I'm in range to die, and outside of a Z move, I can't actually kill Azrael in one hit. Luckily I have a Z move, so I just decided to go for the Continental Crush now. The crit's unnecessary. Actually, it might have actually been necessary with the Violet, because I forgot I had that. but I didn't run a calc or anything. It's Little Cup. I'm honestly not trying 100% in Little Cup. I'm kind of just trying to have fun and go with the battles and stuff. But the crit probably helped enough to knock off that Azrael. If I didn't crit and it killed me off, then it would have, been whatever. I probably just would have volt switched out or something. But crit keeps this thing alive. Azrael drops and she goes Inkay. I figure she's just going to try to go for a superpower sweep at this point because she can pick me off with the superpower and then be +1/+1. So I go Goaty because that's a decent amount of bulk. And with the berry juice, I end up being able to live another one. Unfortunately, I have absolutely nothing to hit this thing with, so I don't even have a stab to hit it with, so I just go for a rock slide to get chip damage. And then Goaty drops as this thing goes to +3. As you can tell, I'm not super happy with how the beginning of this game went, and I very quickly dug myself into a hole that very quickly had to dig myself out of. I'm noticing that happens a little often in my battles, so I'm going to need to get out of that for Season 3. So, superpower +3/+3. Luckily I have Signal Beam and I have a Choice Scarf, so even if she is the Choice Scarf set that I suspect she is, I'm going to be able to OHKO 100% of the time with Signal Beam because it's quad effective. So basically just had to sack the most useless member of my team at that point, and because Goaty didn't actually have coverage to really hit anything, I honestly probably would have been better off just leaving it at home and not bringing it, but I really wanted to try to bring everything at least once in Little Cup, and I freed myself from that for next week. So she brings in Pineco here, and I don't want to lose my Choice Scarf Elekid just to an explosion. That's totally not going to happen. So I instead... So at this point in the battle, actually, I guess I should say, there was a safe play that I could make, and then a hyper-aggressive play that I can make. And the safe play here is just to go Anorith. If she goes for Explosion, she goes for Explosion. If she goes for Rapid Spin, she goes for Rapid Spin. If she tries to set up her own rocks, then I could just go for a Rock Slide or whatever. But the reason I didn't want to do that, by the way, I did not fade Inkay at all. The reason I didn't want to do that is because I gave her a free switch pretty much into Jingmo, and I didn't want to have her set up on me and then counter sweep me because I don't actually have a ton for that at this point, especially without Teddy Ursa being at +1 with Quick Feet. So I instead decided to actually make a pretty aggressive play, reading either the hyper or the Rapid Spin. I don't know where hyper came from. Reading the Rapid Spin or some kind of hazards, either Stealth Rocks or Toxic Spikes or something. I decided to just go hard Teddy Ursa here. Ended up working out well because she just goes for a Rapid Spin that does a ton of damage, and suddenly I'm Toxic and I'm good to go. This Teddy Ursa now has the coverage to basically sweep her entire team, and as you can see with that Facade, things are going to start dropping pretty quick. First Pineco goes, so while rocks are gone, they only really hurt Araquanid anyway, or Dewpider, not Araquanid, baby Araquanid. And as you can see from that Toxic is actually not a very helpful status to have in Little Cup because of how fast-paced the games are. So even though most people would run a Flame Orb on a Guts Pokemon or a Quick Feet Pokemon or something like that, I actually wanted to run Toxic specifically so I could get into a situation like this. Even though that thing's Choice Scarfed and hits me with a Thunderbolt, I'm able to take it out with a Crunch because I'm not burned. Honestly, Ghastly probably would have dropped anyway, but Crunch was for other things that would have actually taken the hit a little bit better. But the reason I didn't want to be burned is so I could actually use the coverage options that Teddy Ursa has outside of Facade, because while it's a very good Facade sweeper if you just give it a Flame Orb and whatever, it actually has a ridiculous amount of coverage because it's an early normal type, and early normal types pretty much just got whatever the fuck they wanted pretty much. So I'm able to hit it with a Crunch, and honestly I'm actually pretty much good to go, I think, to sweep for the rest of this. Ghastly drops, I get hurt by poison, but it does absolutely nothing, and she goes Dewpider here. I go for the Facade. Turns out Stealth Rocks actually did matter. If Stealth Rocks were up there and she would have went for a Stealth Rock, I could have, or if she would have went for a Stealth Rock of her own with Pineco on that turn where I came in, basically I would have been able to just counter sweep her here, but because she got rocks off, Dewpider is able to hang on and kill me off. which kind of sucks, but I have plenty else, so it's not really the end of the world. And as you can tell, I am stalling as I try to find Teddy Ursa, who is way off in the distance on my list of stuff. Okay, so Teddy Ursa's dead. I go Elekid here because I can just get a free Volt switch off. Dupiter drops, and I end up just going to set up the rain here because I switch out. So no reason not to set up the rain here, basically. I somehow actually lived the Brick Break, which is pretty surprising. I was not expecting myself to live Brick Break at all. But basically I just set up the rain, and then it doesn't actually matter because I could just go for an Ice Punch anyway. But I had to sack something to get in for free, and I decided it should be Purloin because that's kind of my trickster wall. My trickster wall, that didn't make any sense. But it's basically just my support Pokemon that I don't really care if it fainted right there, I guess. So it was a good quick game. GGTK. That's hard to say fast. But Rain's fun. Little Cup's fun. I'm not really trying super hard with commentary apparently or with the battles, but it's been fun. So next week we end up finishing up Little Cup actually. Like I said, it was a really short tournament, but we end up finishing up Little Cup next week. I just realized this pause, sorry. We finish up Little Cup next week against Rest in Peace HBK, coach of the Minnesota Volcarona. Volcarona actually competed in the finals of NES Season 2, and we haven't really played them that much on the channel, I think. So it should be pretty fun. I didn't mean to rewind that far, but just watch that Ice Punch one more time, I guess. It should be pretty fun. Looking forward to it. Get excited for NES Season 3. It's coming up real soon, and I'll probably do a little bit more for that than I have been doing for some of the other stuff on the channel lately. Thank you guys for staying patient with how inconsistent my uploads have been lately. Drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment, do whatever. I really appreciate it, and I read everything and respond to everything, so thank you guys. And yeah, have a good one. Bye. What's going on, guys? CEO here with the final week of the NES Little Cup tournament. Feels like we just started it, but it's already over. Kind of sad. This week we are going up against Rest in Peace HBK, coach of the Minnesota Volcaronas. They're actually undefeated right now, so it'd be nice to kind of end our season on a high note, especially since they were actually one of the final two teams in the NES Season 2. We both decided that we were going to kind of go into this with meme sets in mind, but I still kind of wanted to take this battle at least a little bit seriously. That said, I only spent like 15 minutes on this team, I think, total. So there's going to be a lot of really wacky stuff that wasn't tested in any way, shape, or form. But you know what? That's what makes Pokemon fun. So first off, we of course bring Mudbray for the final week. It's a Choice Scarf set again with Earthquake, Rock Slide, Close Combat, and my hidden tech of Hidden Power Flying. Mudbray's attack is a lot higher than its special attack, but the Volcaronas actually have quite a lot of bugs on their team. In addition to the two that they brought, they also have another one that I don't have the dock open right this second as I'm trying to stall and open it on my phone, but it's not opening. But they have another one, so I wanted to make sure I brought HP Flying for the Larvesta because they had a mascot pick. I wanted to make sure I brought HP Flying because it seemed to do quite a lot to their team, and I thought it'd be kind of funny to see a hidden power come out of a Mudbray. So next up we have Toxic Orb, Quick Feet, Teddy Ursa again because it did quite a lot last week. With Ice Punch, Facade Crunch, and Swords Dance. Again, it does just a lot with its pretty limited coverage, so I kind of just decided to give it Swords Dance this week. I'm going to skip to Mienfoo for right now because the rest of the team will make a little bit more sense later. Mienfoo with Choice Scarf Regenerator has U-Turn, High Jump Kick, Knockoff, and Rock Slide. Again, rock coverage is pretty decent, which is why I brought Anorith with Swift Swim, Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, Rock Slide, and X-Scissor. I actually wanted to bring Buginium Z this week, even though he has a ton of bugs, mostly for the memes of being in Bugsy against the Bug Trainer this time. But also because I realized that despite having the nickname of Wee, because it's my spinner, I have not actually spun once with Anorith. And since I didn't actually need Rapid Spin this week, I decided to just give it a Savage Spin out instead. In any universe, Rockin' EMZ probably would have been better, but, you know, it's Little Cup. I'm not really obviously trying too hard. So next up we have Damp Rock, Prankster, Purloin again with Rain Dance, Encore, Foul Play, and Yawn. This Purloin is a little bit more dedicated to setting up the rain than last week's was, as well as kind of blocking stuff, so I can actually get a decent setup, potentially with Teddy Ursa, but possibly also with something else. And finally we have Poliwag with Life Orb, Swift Swim, again EV to have 19 HP, because Life Orb with 19 HP is awesome in Little Cup, with Scald, Ice Beam, Psychic, and Hidden Power Fighting. Hidden Power Fighting was for the Alolan Geodude, as well as something else that I'm not seeing as I'm looking through that roster right now. But as I can see from his roster, his Rapid Spinner's probably Staryu, but I would like to get Rocks up, but I also kind of just want to get Rain up and just go hard Rain. So I'm going to actually lead Purloin this week and break my tendency a little bit. It doesn't actually matter because he just leads Teddy Ursa and I don't want to stand against that anyway, so I just go hard Mudbray. He flings his Flame Orb at me before actually getting Guts off of it, which I thought was ridiculous. So I was like, okay, so this thing's burned and kind of useless now because it's a mostly physical Mudbray. I still actually can get it nice Hidden Power flying off on something if I want to. But I get the 1.5 defense boost at least, and Close Combat's still doing a pretty decent chunk to that. He sets up a Swords Dance of his own, actually, which I thought was kind of funny that we both brought Swords Dance Teddy Ursa in week 2. He actually got to set his up, though, spoilers. But Swords Dance comes out, doesn't really matter because Teddy Ursa drops. I'm pretty fortunate that that was still a 2-hit KO, because honestly I don't really know what I would have done. I assumed by him getting rid of his Flame Orb so quickly that he might have not actually been Quick Feet, but I don't know what else he would have been, I guess. So sorry, I got lost in my windows because I have a lot of stuff open right now. So I get hurt by my burn as he goes Joltik here. I don't really want to take an Energy Ball or even really a Bug Buzz, honestly. So I just decided to switch out and go Anorith, even though it's not really that good of a switch. He sets up the agility on my switch so I don't outspeed now. I go for the Rock Slide, knock him down to his Sash. Really wish I brought Aqua Jet this week. If I had spent more than 10 minutes on this team, I probably would have, honestly. But it happens. Bug Buzz takes me out because I under-prepped. But that's okay. Honestly, Anorith, after doing quite a lot the first 3 weeks, wasn't really super necessary this week. It would have been nice to get Rocks up, I guess, but it's not 100% critical that I get him up this game. So I just decided to go Mienfoo here and go for the U-turn because Free Momentum is Free Momentum, basically. I go Mudbray here, basically expecting him to not expect me to have anything to hit him with. I'm just going to go for an HP flying here because I kind of want to show it off. I kind of want to see how much it does. I was really hoping it was going to kill. If I would have actually invested into like a modest Mudbray, I probably would have been able to kill. But again, that probably would have been better prep than I actually prepared for. But I am happy to see that it at least did something, and he took a recoil, so I know he has a Life Orb, so he's not Choice Scarfed, so my own Mienfoo is actually going to outspeed his. And I still get another kill, because he sacks off his thing as I end up dying to burn with my Mudbray. So that's cool. This game is obviously going very fast because I'm having trouble fading everything in time, but that's Little Cup for you, I guess. Turn 9 and 4 things are dead already. So we both go our own Mienfoos. I know I outspeed his, so I'm actually just going to go for a knockoff and get rid of his Life Orb. He ends up switching into his own Choice Scarfer, which is really cool. I actually wasn't super worried about Staryu being Choice Scarfed because I still could outspeed with Poliwag, but it's nice to get rid of that, so Teddy Ursa also outspeeds. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't exactly know why I went Teddy Ursa there, because I was either predicting a double, I believe, or something, but it wasn't really a very good play, because if he would have landed that Hydro Pump, it would have probably killed me, I think. But because he missed, I get in for free and look like a god for predicting the miss on the Hydro Pump, because that's obviously what I did. I go for the Crunch, and Staryu drops. Teddy Ursa is getting a lot of kills in Little Cup, and I kind of wish I would have used it a little bit sooner to maybe be an MVP, but that's okay. He goes Mienfoo here just to get the Fake Out off, but because I know that he's Life Orb, I know that I outspeed here, so there's no reason for me not to go for a Facade and kill this thing off. I wasn't really super threatened by Mienfoo, but just getting it out of the way is nice, especially for something like Purloin, who could potentially come in and be a little bit more annoying now. at least until Wimpod comes in, I guess. So his Choice Scarf, Inkay, outspeeds mine, superpower kills. It's at this point that I can either go my own Mienfoo and try to get a knockoff off or something, or just go hard rain. I'm not 100% confident that, I'm not 100% confident the knockoff is actually going to kill, so I just decided to go Purloin and set up rain, even though I know that a superpower is going to completely obliterate me. So much for being defensive, I guess. It would have been nice to get a Yawn off, but I really needed to just get the Rain Dance up so I could go into Poliwag here, because Poliwag does have the strength to OHKO from full with the Scald, which is nice. I'm going to stop fading stuff because things are just dying left and right now. Because I'm Swift Swim with max speed, I actually outspeed his Wimpod, which turns out is actually Choice Scarf. If I didn't outspeed, I probably would have just killed off with Mienfoo Rock Slide anyway. But Poliwag getting 2 kills at the end of the game is kind of cool, because I didn't actually really know if I'd be able to get Poliwag in for a rain sweep at any week. And I kind of forced it in this week, and it ended up working out. So good game, HBK. Obviously, Little Cup memes are the best memes, so that was a fun week. Hopefully we can actually play each other for real in the regular season. I forget, it's Season 3 schedule's been announced, but I haven't actually really looked at it super hard. So, on that note, I guess, Little Cup's over. I finished 3-1, which was a pretty good record, but not good enough to actually win it, so I think I got like 3rd or 4th or something, which isn't bad. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with the team that I got. I'm not going to do like a draft recap or anything. I'm pretty happy with the team I got overall. Rain's fun, I guess. If you guys are watching this before August 12th, I don't actually know when I'm going to release this, but I'm going to probably try to just get it out. But if you guys are watching this before August 12th, please check out YouTube or reddit.com/r/NES battles. We'll be posting a link for our Season 3 live draft stream on TK's channel, so get excited for that because it's coming up soon. Everyone's been prepping pretty hard for it, so it should be a pretty good draft. I've already made the graphics for it, and they're pretty awesome, if I do say so for myself. So just check it out, drop by, say hi. It should be happening sometime Saturday afternoon/evening. I don't know if we've settled on a time, but I'm pretty sure it's 6 p.m. Eastern. Swing by, and if it hasn't started yet, it's because it's at 7 p.m. Eastern, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and head out. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for joining me for Little Cup. I obviously didn't take it super seriously, but the fact that we were still able to go 3-1 and show off some kind of cool stuff meant it was still worth it for me. And obviously battling friends is always fun, so have a good one, guys, and I will see you for Season 3. Bye.